Did you know South Park has wormed its way into places you'd never expect? From top-tier movies to viral video games, this little mountain town has left its irreverent mark on pop culture in ways only Cartman, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny could. Ever caught yourself mid-game or mid-binge going, "Wait a second, why is The Simpsons supporting South Park? Or is my brain just glitching?" Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into every hilarious, shocking, and downright bizarre South Park cameo and reference across movies, TV shows, games, and more. Stick around to the end, or else Cartman might just show up. Okay, so let's start our deep dive with some TV show references to South Park. For example, in The Amazing World of Gumball, in the episode Christmas, we see Gumball wearing clothes identical to Cartman from South Park, and Darwin is wearing an ushanka similar to Kyle's. In another episode, The Bus, while the gang is planning how to execute their plan.
Okay, you hold on to me and I'll reach out and grab the briefcase.
Their plan may be good, but did you notice that Richard's criminal mask resembles Stan Marsh's hat from South Park? Also, in the episode The Fury, we can see Eric Cartman from South Park in the crowd watching Nicole's tournament. The question is, what is he doing there? Also, there are floating potatoes singing the potato song in the episode The Potato. Yup, these resemble the Canadians from South Park. Well, you can't deny the vibe.
Potato.
Potato?
Potato, potato.
Moving on to American Dad, where we again see multiple references to South Park. For example, in the very first episode, Pilot, a teenage character who resembles Wendy appears in the mall. And in the episode Spring Breakup, this same character shows up once again. Over in the episode The Longest Distance Relationship, we see Jeff and Sinbad morphing into different animation styles, one of which resembles South Park. Also, in the episode A Boy Named Michael, Roger steals Kenny's drip with the orange parka jacket covering most of his face. Moving on to the next series, Arthur, in the episode titled The Contest, where Buster writes a story parodying the South Park episode Cartman Gets an Anal Probe. In the story, with a similar animation style to South Park, we can also recognize this line,
Hey, you squished Buster!
which is a parody of the line.
My God, they killed Kenny!
On the show Becoming Human, we have the episode Update Number 26 Graffiti, where Adam loves Krista. Freaks together. Message is written all over the campus. However, there is an Easter egg in this picture. Can you spot it? Yes! It's the Kenny drawing right next to the whiteboard. Over in Big City Greens, we have a child similar to Kenny from South Park in the episode Winter Greens, right in front of the polar bear zone. There is a slight change to the character design this time. Instead of the orange polka jacket, we have a dark green winter outfit. Moving on, we have Bunny Maloney, the famous animated TV series, where in the episode Dispense Sense 9000, we see a guy wearing glasses dancing. But is it a coincidence that he is drawn in the South Park style? Let us know in the comments. Now, the show Boy Meets World, where the classic line,
My God, they killed Kenny!
was referenced. Here is the Boy Meets World version.
Oh my gosh! They killed Kenny!
And
Oh my gosh! They killed Feeny!
in another episode, Eric Hollywood, Eric is seen doing a Cartman impression.
So I can do Cartman.
I'm not fat. I'm festively plump.
These South Park references are just crazy. And it does not end here. See this parody of Cartman in the episode It's About Time.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best man of all?
You are, Eric. You are.
Over in the Celebrity Deathmatch episode The New Employee, the fight has a tragic end, referencing South Park.
Oh my God, Flea killed Kenny G! Flea killed Kenny G!
In the American adult animated TV series, The Cleveland Show, some songs from the South Park episode Bigger, Longer, and Uncut are seen in the episode Harder, Better, Faster, Browner, with the names E. Cartman, K. Broflovsky, and S. Marsh. In Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony, the Japanese visual comics, one of the characters, Miu Iruma, is seen saying, "Let me put on some makeup, cause I wanna look pretty before you decide to f me," which is a nod to the South Park episode Human Centipede. In the South Park episode, when Cartman says this phrase to her mom for not buying him an iPad,
Would you mind loaning me some of your lipstick, Mom?
because I want to at least look pretty the next time you decide to fuck me!
In the show Drawn Together, we have a crossover with South Park in the episode A Tale of Two Cows. While there is a killer cow on the loose, our main character goes into South Park town. However, everyone is dead in the South Park verse, except Kenny. Ironic, isn't it? Now, how can we talk about Easter eggs, cameos, and references without mentioning Family Guy? And let me tell you, Family Guy is not behind on this as well. For example, in the episode Big Fat, we see Peter saying this.
I always wanted to go to Canada, but then South Park went, so we couldn't go.
Also, in the episode V is for Mystery, we see Kenny's skeleton in the title sequence. His signature orange jacket is still with him. And in the episode Emmy-winning episode, South Park is shown on the library computer as a show that has received multiple Emmy awards. Last but not least, in the episode Family Guy Through the Years, Peter states,
Guy has survived 19 cancellations, 2 assassination attempts, and a pretty good ribbon by those South Park guys.
Moving on, we have the live-action The Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder, where a character is seen saying,
Screw you guys! I'm going home!
which is a nod to the Cartman's phrase.
Screw you guys! I'm going home. But Cartman, we're trying to... screw you guys?
Now, in the anime FLCL, in the episode Marquis de Carabas, we see a Kenny figure impaled by a spear flying through the air, along with some other parts from a car crash. In another episode titled Brittle Bullet, we see the character Commander Amorau drawn in the animation style of South Park while he is on the phone and getting his hair cut at the barbershop. In the same episode, we see another character, Nauta Nandaba, covering his face and giving a muffled response just like Kenny McCormick from South Park. In the TV series Garage Band's episode titled No Strings Attached, we see Captain Carney saying this.
Hey, Carney kids, give a big old howdy-ho to the brand new Garage Gang!
This howdy-ho is a clever nod to South Park's Mr. Hanky. Another such nod to South Park is this web segment called Hungry Sam on iCarly.com, which also features in the episode I Bust a Thief. It's a cartoon based on South Park. The animation style looks really similar to that of South Park. Moving on, we have the show Inside Job, where in the episode Inside Reagan, we notice Brett mentioning Inception, a South Park episode.
Is there any sci-fi type of way to access your childhood memories, like Inception? Or like that South Park episode that was a parody of Inception?
I think Brett meant the South Park episode Inception, but I'll let it slide this time. On the famous TV show Jessie, we see yet another reference to the famous line,
Oh my god! They killed Kenny!
in the episode Creepy Connie Comes a Callie. Connie steals Kenny the koala doll and tears its head off. This was Luke's reaction to it.
Oh! They killed Kenny!
Classic. Moving on, we have the TV show Last Man Standing, where in the episode Attractive Architect, when Eve Baxter gives Mandy a makeover, she makes her wear an orange parka, just like Kenny from South Park. Then she goes on to say this.
It's Kenny from South Park!
In the episode Snow Way Out of the show The Loud House, Flip's winter gear looks kinda similar to Kyle Broflovsky's clothes from South Park. Moreover, in the television series Mad, we have an episode titled My Supernatural Sweet 16, where Satan appears after Ashley's dad questions 2 Sweet 16s.
Oh no, this doesn't mean we have to have 2 Sweet 16s, does it?
I sure hope not.
Which is a reference to the South Park episode Hell on Earth 2006, where Satan organizes his own Super Sweet 16 party on Halloween.
This shall be my Super Sweet 16! Ha 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 ha!
And in the Mad TV Season 3 Episode 23, we have a sketch called South Park Nuts, which is a parodic take on Peanuts in South Park. They even reference the fat fuck joke.
How about you, Nelly?
Yeah, I got one. You're a fat fuck.
But with a slight twist.
Yeah, well, you're a filthy
In My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic's episode Tanks for the Memories, we have a scene where some of the main characters of the show are seen with a bag filled with the boys' hats from South Park. In the show Negima, Magister Negi Maggie, we once again see multiple references to South Park. For example, in the episode titled No Way, That's What You Do for a Probationary Contract, By Asuna, there's a delightful nod to South Park tucked into the background. A banner reading South Park can be spotted, blending seamlessly into the scene. In the second season episode, I think there are some good things about not being seen, but I do think there are times when it's better to be seen. By Sayo, one of the figures on the boxes in Asuna's room looks like Cartman. Finally, episode 20 takes things up a notch with an entire segment dedicated to a South Park parody titled Sayoth Park. It begins with a wooden sign mimicking the iconic South Park opening, followed by a scene where Sayo, Nakane, and Natsumi are drawn in classic South Park style. And how can we forget this famous line?
Oh my god, they killed Sayo!
In the famous TV show The Office, where in the season 8 episode Spooked, everyone is dressing up in costumes, and Stanley does the same. Although he dresses up as a simple chef, Andy exclaims,
"Chef from South Park, it's genius."
In Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt, the episode If the Angels Wore Swimsuits treats fans with a clever animation twist during the volleyball match between the Angels and the Demon Sisters. The animation style suddenly shifts to one reminiscent of South Park, offering a hilarious homage to the iconic show's crude yet charming aesthetic. In the Powerpuff Girls Season 2 episode Imaginary Fiend, the show sneaks in a fun South Park gag. Blossom gets hit so hard, she transforms temporarily into Cartman, complete with his voice and mannerisms.
You okay? He tripped me. Seriously.
Moving on, we have the Rick and Morty episode, The Rick-Churian Morty Date. Rick drops a South Park reference while playing VR Minecraft.
What about this?
South Park did it 4 years ago, Morty.
They're fast.
Or we're slow.
It's a cheeky nod to the episode Informative Murder Porn, and a self-aware jab at the long shadow South Park casts over pop culture. The Vat of Acid episode gives a visual homage when Morty, his girlfriend, and 2 other survivors from a plane crash are dressed in outfits strikingly similar to the main South Park cast. But due to copyright restrictions, the outfit colors are slightly altered, but the resemblance is still unmistakable. Over in the episode Full Meta Jackrick, the references go full tilt. While Storylord uses Jesus Christ as a weapon against Rick and Morty, Morty hilariously explains that Jesus has already beaten people up in South Park.
You're using Jesus to beat us up? Have you seen South Park?
It's a meta nod to the iconic Super Best Friends episode. Moving on, we have Robot Chicken's sharp wit that takes aim at South Park in MasterChef Celebrity Showdown. In this sketch, the chef is hilariously depicted as a contestant on MasterChef, where he does a cook-off competing against Bob from Bob's Burger, SpongeBob, and Linguini from Ratatouille. Gordon Ramsay is the host of the show. His challenge involves cooking with his greatest fear.
STDs are actually my biggest fear, children.
The Simpsons has mentioned South Park many times in multiple episodes, so let's take a look at all the South Park references in The Simpsons. In the episode The Bart of War, Bart and Milhouse are watching South Park. It also shows Cartman getting killed by O.J. Simpson. In Homer the Whopper, Comic Book Guy references South Park with a username, I Killed Kenny 6475.
If copies got out, it would be ridiculed by the online community. Son of Spock, the Dork Knight, I Killed Kenny 6475.
The episode Oh Brother Where Bart Thou offers a visual treat as Bart, Milhouse, Nelson, and Ralph dress up as Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny. Ralph even meets a classic South Park fate by getting hit by a bus, and Otto Man also says the famous line,
Oh my god, I killed Kenny!
The episode The Squirt and the Whale adds a cheeky line of solidarity. Bart writes, South Park, we'd stand beside you if we weren't so scared, referencing the threats Matt and Trey received during the controversial 2000 and 2001 episodes. The episode titled Gorgeous Grandpa sneaks in Cartman's silhouette during Mr. Burns' song about evil, mingling him with other pop culture villains. In Treehouse of Horror 25, the Simpson family is transformed into South Park-style characters, with Bart wearing Stan's hat, Lisa as Kyle, and Maggie hilariously resembling Ike. However, the family is shown in several other animation styles referencing different shows. Can you guess which iconic shows are being parodied? The Cat in the Hat episode takes the parody further with a couch gag that sees Homer entering the South Park universe. He describes it as a third-grade diorama and confronts parodies of the boys about a missing portrait, only to be met with their trademark profanity.
TV show, or did I walk into a third-grade shoebox diorama? Did you steal my painting?
In Whistler's Father, Lisa wrestles with Maggie's newfound talent, musing that they could share it like the South Park guys, but worries since she knows that Trey does everything.
No, I will not get caught in that trap that only one of us is good. We can both be good, like the South Park guys. Except Trey does everything. Trey does everything!
Lastly, in Treehouse of Horror 33, after escaping from Simpsons World, the Simpsons arrive at Bob's Burgers Land, while the episode ends by showing alternative worlds of animated shows, including South Park Park. Can you name all the other shows that can be seen? But that is not it. The cultural reach of South Park even extends into the world of The Sopranos. In the episode Down Neck, Anthony Jr. mentions South Park's very first episode. Cartman gets an anal probe when he is being tested for ADD.
Maybe he's watching South Park. Number 1 was supposed to be on tonight. The one where Cartman gets abducted by aliens, and they give him an anal probe and it makes him fart fire.
Now, South Park fans might notice a familiar face, or at least a familiar resemblance, in 10-year-old Tom. A character bearing a striking similarity to Sheila Broflovsky appears in several episodes, capturing her signature look and essence in a playful nod to the South Park matriarch. In Steven Universe, the character Aquamarine stands out not just for her sassy attitude, but also for her slight resemblance to Cartman. With her controlling, cocky, and devious nature, it's no surprise that one of the showrunners confirmed her inspiration in a podcast, describing her as small and sassy like Cartman. The influence of South Park humor reaches into student bodies, particularly in the episode Snowed In, where Victor hilariously exclaims,
Oh my God, they killed Flash! You bastards!
This line is, of course, a clear homage to the iconic Kenny death gag from South Park. Moving on to the 2004 documentary Super Size Me, which includes a clever South Park Easter egg during its many parody paintings. In a version of The Last Supper, fictional characters gather around an obese Ronald McDonald, and among them is none other than Kyle. Given the influence South Park has, even VeggieTales couldn't resist tipping its hat to South Park. In the St. Patrick's Day segment of Sumo of the Opera, the animation style briefly shifts to directly reference South Park. The unexpected crossover makes for a memorable moment in the faith-based series. In the anime Yuri on Ice, Jean-Jacques Leroy, aka JJ, channels South Park in a flashback during episode 12. The Canadian skater sports a winter outfit inspired by Cartman's iconic look, adding a touch of comedic flair to his character and connecting two very different animated worlds. Next up, we have all of the movies that have South Park references, cameo appearances, and Easter eggs. Let's kick off this list with the movie The Brothers Grimsby, where Sebastian Graves visits his brother, Nobby, whose son is watching a South Park episode bigger, longer, and uncut. In the Drawn Together movie, we have the finale special, where Drawn Together is replaced by the Suck My Taint show. This entire show is a parody of South Park, with one of the main antagonists, the Suck My Taint girl, being a rip-off of Eric Cartman, with her trademark,
Don't you suck my taint,
copying Eric Cartman's catchphrase.
How would you like to suck my balls?
There is also a photo of Mr. Kitty from South Park in the Suck My Taint girl's dressing room. The Make-A-Point land mentioned in the movie is also a reference to the South Park Imagination Land.
Hey, know what you should do? You should go to Make-A-Point Land and get yourself a point from the Make-A-Point Wizard.
Moving on to our next reference, Futurama, where, in the 2007 movie Bender's Big Score, there is a scene where Leela and Lars are seen visiting the head museum. However, don't be surprised to see Eric Cartman's head in one of the jars in the museum. In the 1998 movie BASEketball, we have the South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone as the lead actors of the movie. Moreover, the show was referenced multiple times in the movie. For example, in the locker room, Coop says,
Oh, sorry, I forgot how much Doug Reamer cares about kids.
in the voice of Mr. Garrison from South Park. In the same movie, Al Michaels says,
From the nearly 15,000 on hand here for Anal Probe Night,
which is a nod to the first episode of South Park episode, Cartman Gets an Anal Probe. Trey Parker, in the movie, also references his show by parodying Cartman. Moving on, we have a South Park cameo appearance in the movie Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, where Randy Marsh is seen appearing for a brief moment in the sauna in the movie. In another movie, Grandma's Boy, we see inflatable toys of Kyle, Kenny, and Stan, and Cartman. In the movie Logorama, when an earthquake brings chaos to the town, we can see the South Park logo lying next to the W of the Hollywood sign. In the movie Monkey Bone, towards the end of the movie, we hear Death say,
I like you. I'll take the South Park guys instead. I hear they're dying to meet me.
Our last movie that has references to South Park is the comedy drama movie Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, where we see Rosenberg and Goldstein's apartment filled with posters from different verses, and among these posters is one of Cartman from South Park. Now, imagine sitting down to play your favorite game and realizing you've just been teabagged by Cartman in digital form. Yup, it happened. So let's move on to some game references. Firstly, in the popular game series Ape Escape, on the level Dark Ruins, we have 4 monkeys named after the boys from South Park. For example, here we have Kenny, Stan, and Cartman. Moreover, we have the Brawl Star game that introduced the Rude Loo skin, which is definitely a nod to South Park's Eric Cartman. In the game Crash Mind Over Mutant, the cutscenes titled I'm Not Your Buddy Guy and I'm Not Your Guy Friend are not only animated in a South Park style, but the names of the cutscenes also directly reference the famous argument between Terrence, Philip, and Stephen Aboutman from Canada on Strike. In the famous and loved game Cyberpunk 2077, the phrase, "Oh my god, they killed V," is available as a pose option in photo mode, referencing Kenny's infamous deaths in South Park. Moving on to the game Halo. South Park makes its mark in Halo 3 through some hilarious Easter eggs. Grunts sometimes shout,
Damn shit, big black man fucking authoritah! Yeah!
In the game Nitrome, in Skywire VIP, Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Kenny make an appearance, requiring players to identify them as South Park. Additionally, in Nitrome Must Die, Justin Bennett occasionally pulls his hoodie tight over his face, mimicking Kenny's signature look. In Postal 4, No Regrets, the game includes a cheat called Finger Bang Bang, allowing players to shoot bullets from their fingers while referencing South Park's Finger Bang song with the line, I'm just a finger bang bang you every night. In another game of the same series, Postal, Brain Damaged, the codex entry for the Storm Pooper enemy starts with, He's not fat, he's big boned, a playful nod to Cartman's classic catchphrase. In another famous game, Red Dead Redemption, there is an achievement and trophy titled Fightin' Around the World, which is a reference to the Russell Crowe from the South Park episode The New Terrence and Phillip movie trailer. In Roblox, South Park fans can find multiple references in the Roblox avatar shop. Towel Shoulder Pal, which is Towley. Egghead Brother, which is Ike. Chef Apron, which is the apron from Chef himself. Mischievous Raccoon, which is inspired by Cartman's coon mask. Foil Burrito Head, which is the mask of Professor Chaos aka Butters, and many other items. Moving on, we have Silent Hill Origins, where the players of the game can spot a clever South Park Easter egg on the in-game map. Zooming into the lower left corner reveals a marker near Riverside Motel labeled To South Park. And finishing up the game section of our South Park references, we have the last one, Splitter Pals, where on level 25 of Splitter Pals players are allowed to control a character resembling Kenny, complete with his iconic yellow hoodie, offering a delightful nod to South Park. Now, let's take a look at some comics that have South Park references in them. For example, in Big Nate, the American comic series, we see Nate saying that he is the king of homemade valentines. To this, Francis responds with a poem Nate created for Jenny. Jenny, 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 you slay me like South Park's Kenny. Moving on to the close-to-home comic strip, where Kenny makes an appearance trying to get life insurance. Ironic, isn't it? Given how he dies in every episode. In another comic series, Foxtrot, towards the end of the comics, Marcus asks this: Jason, did you want me to upload these South Park videos in any particular order? In the Get Fuzzy comic series, while Bucky is trying to write a new risky and controversial show, he says this: in 80 years, I bet South Park will seem bland. Well, what do you say about this? Let us know in the comments how long you think South Park is gonna last. Moving on to Mad Magazine has referenced South Park multiple times, as it always does with other shows. For example, in issue number 371, South Park is parodied on the cover, with the main character of the comic, Alfred, shown being killed by Kenny. In another issue, issue number 375, we see South Park and Dr. Katz being parodied on the cover. In the German issue of the Mad Magazine with the title Happy Tree Friends in Hurrah! Sie haben Kenny getötet, we see Kenny being depicted on the cover. Like always, he is dead and was killed by characters from the series Happy Tree Friends. Now, our music artists are also not behind on South Park references. Apparently, rapper Eminem loves South Park because he has referenced the show multiple times. For example, the song Fack has a parody of Cartman's voice, and also references the South Park episode, The Death Camp of Tolerance, with the lyrics,
Now see that gerbil? Grab that tube, shove it up my butt.
In the song The Kids, we see Mr. Mackey and Cartman's parodies. This line is voiced by Mr. Mackey.
Children, I'd like to introduce our new substitute teacher for the day. His name is Mr. Shady.
And we have the Cartman's voice as well. Check this. In the song Marshall Mathers, Eminem references South Park by saying,
Starting shit like some 26-year-old skinny car.
In the song Untitled, there is a line in the lyrics that goes like this.
Looking at me like I killed Kenny.
In the song WTP, we have another reference to South Park, as one of the lines goes like this.
From the north, east, and west, but when it comes to them trailers in them South Parks, muffle it, cause homie, that hood's tighter than Kenny's.
Now, we have probably the most famous song by Eminem, Criminal. In this song, we hear the character's voice of Saddam Hussein from South Park in the song,
Come on, relax, guy. I like amen, right, Ken? Give me an amen.
The last reference to South Park by Eminem is in the song Habits, where we see the clip from the episode Safe Space. We also hear Cartman's voice throughout the song, and some lines go like,
Would this rhyme be okay if South Park did it?
Okay, screw you guys.
Would it make you less angry if Cartman spit it?
God damn it.
Okay, now let's move on to our next artist, Kanye West. In his song Gorgeous, Kanye responds to the portrayal of the South Park episode Fish Sticks with this line.
Choke a South Park writer with a fish stick.
And again in the Watch the Throne song, Made in America, he references fish sticks by saying,
South Park had them all laughing.
Now, moving on to the last music reference of South Park, we have Royce da 5'9" with his song On the Boulevard, where he sings this line.
Oh my God, they killed Kenny, bitch, this ain't South Park.
Now, let's move on to the last segment of our video, South Park references in web series. Firstly, we have the pilot episode of the web series The Amazing Digital Circus, in which, when the Gloinks take away Zubul, Jack sarcastically quips,
Oh no, they killed Zubul.
Referencing the iconic South Park line, Oh my God, they killed Kenny. In the Babish Culinary Universe series on YouTube, Andrew Rea recreated literal recipes from South Park, including
Chef's chocolate salty balls
and
Mr. and Mrs. Tenorman chili
on his YouTube channel. He created an improved version of these dishes and a separate recipe for
goat cheese and heirloom tomato frittata, cream fraiche.
In a YouTube web series by Jack and Jellify, Battle for Dream Island, the episode Cycle of Life has a tongue-in-cheek message about voting for future episodes that mock its own cleverness and then humorously references The Poop That Took a Pee. A fictional book written by Butters, as a sequel to The Tale of Scrody McBoogerballs in the episode The Tale of Scrody McBoogerballs. Similarly, in the episode Insectophobe's Nightmare 4, Topaz appears a split second in a style similar to the Canadians from South Park. Can you spot him?
Sapphire, emerald, turquoise, amethyst, obsidian, diamond, amber, barysite, ivory, jade, feldspar, jasper, gold, opal, axonite, pyrite, coral, topaz, benitoid, glass, garnet, ultramarine, iolite, baptiste, fluorite, pearl, hematite, quartz, malachite, caramel, absolute, and poo.
Moving on, we have the Brew Stew films on the Breast Stew channel, where the whole video, Snow Day, is basically a direct parody of South Park. In the video, Tyler and his friends dress as the boys from South Park. Michael, dressed like Kenny, gets hit in the face with a rock. Tyler exclaims,
"Oh my god, they killed Michael!"
To which Steven, dressed as Kyle, humorously adds,
"You bastards! I wanted to kill Michael!"
In another series, Death Battle, in Ghost Rider vs. Lobo, Squirrely the Squirrel randomly pops up out of nowhere, saying,
"Hail Satan!"
after Boomstick mentions Satan during Ghost Rider's analysis. The Darman video, Student with Tourette's made fun of, What Happens is Shocking, is a direct parody of South Park's episode Le Petit Tourette. Both feature a deviant protagonist, Cartman in South Park, and Mikey here, learning about Tourette's from a character named Thomas and faking the condition for personal gain. In another video on the FV Family channel, Surprising Family with New Gaming Room, a drawing resembling Stan appears on a whiteboard early in the video. In Blowing Darts at a Surprise Map Challenge, Duddy stops Mike from playing with dog turds by saying,
"It's okay, stop playing with it, dude. It's not Mr. Hanky."
Moving on, we have SMG4, where in the episode Puzzle Vision, Bob Babowski and Fishy Boopkins teleport into South Park's 2D animated world. Cartman rips on Boopkins and Bob, leading to a fight where Cartman ironically defeats Bob. Following this, glitches spread across the town, causing Kenny to explode, Stan and Kyle to deliver their classic catchphrase, and characters to revert to models from South Park's first 3D video game. In the same video, Bob's line,
"Hey, don't call me fat, you dumbass towel!"
is a nod to the South Park character Towley. On the YouTube web series Smosh, in the video, If Cartoons Were Real, South Park is parodied with Ian dressed as Stan. He apologizes to his off-screen mother as she washes his tongue with soap. I guess he said some bad words. Moving on to YouTube channel Senior Pello, where in the video Moki's Show Contagious Christmas, Cartman kicks off the video by getting beaten up by police while under quarantine. In another video from Senior Pello, Spooky Month, Tender Treats, a child in the Candy Club wears an outfit identical to Stan's. Also, on the YouTube Annoying Orange Gaming, there is a series called Block Stars, where in one episode we see Gaming Grape imitating Cartman, Kenny, and Kyle from South Park while discussing Kyle's mom. In the Len Stoller auto dealer ad for the local TV, we had a South Park-style animation featured, with knockoffs of Eric Cartman named High Prices, with the classic Kenny Death reference as well. And as last, but definitely not least, within the official Journal 3 book from Gravity Falls, we can see a silhouette of the crab person from South Park in the official Journal 3 book. Well, there you have it. A roundup of South Park cameos so vast even Randy couldn't drunkenly deny it. From games to movies to shows you probably forgot existed, the boys have been everywhere. So next time you spot a random Cartman figurine or hear a muffled, "Oh my god, they killed Kenny," just know you've stumbled onto another dimension of the South Park multiverse. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment telling us which cameo made you go, "Holy crap, that's so random!" Until then, don't be a Kyle. Stay awesome, folks.